Send this email out to the guys.
Do you have metrics on that news website? Like, can you see how many visitors and stuff?
Yeah, it has everything logged in.
So
I can.
Have you? I mean, that's live, right? Like, you can get to it by a domain.
Yeah, and I sent you all the login access.
Yeah. So, are you seeing any traffic yet?
Oh, literally, I just started adding a lot of the stories today. So, yeah, I'm just trying to get it populated and then figure out what we're going to do from there. And there's still a lot of little issues I got to fix on it.
Yep.
It was excited to show you guys.
Yeah, that's great.
Hold on. I'm emailing this to the guys. Let's see if our crew is getting up here. Where's our emails? All right. Well, I've sent it out. All right, guys. All right. Crypto Chat Live. We're here talking. Here's Keith Carpentier down there in the St. John for the final days of vacation. And there's Sean in his backyard in Delaware.
I'm on perpetual vacation.
Perpetual vacation.
Yeah. It's good to be Sean.
Another late parents.
So today in the markets, let's start off with the markets while we get our friends Pun Chat and the crew on. Bitcoin stuck just below 40,000. Crypto markets pulled back after about 13 days in the green. Bitcoin pulls back $4,000 in the last, let's say, 48 hours. At one point, they were at 42. Now it's back down to about, what are we at, 30, 39, somewhere around there right now.
High 39.
Yeah. Cryptocurrency markets in the last 48 hours, according to one of the websites, dropped 100 billion. Everything's down about 3 to 5%. But that's what happens. It's been going up for the last 13 days.
Yeah, and I also think, I mean, let's put it in perspective, Joe. You know, we say stuck below 40K, but we were like $90 away from hitting 40K, you know, right before we went on air. So, you know, by no means are we deep underwater here, or deep under the 40K mark. You know, and also too, like I wonder, we talk about, you know, pullbacks. It almost seems to me like there's a bit of divergence going on in the market, you know, between, candidly, Bitcoin had a good day, right? Ethereum had a good day. You know, it almost feels like there's strength there in the bigger capitalized names. Perhaps, you know, you could argue a flight to quality, maybe some of the more spec coins selling off, but yeah, I think it depends on what end of the market you're in, because for Ethereum and Bitcoin, it was a pretty good day.
Yeah, I think there's a good solid floor being found here, right? But also I do think there is, you know, this one dark cloud of EIP 1559, you know, going live tomorrow morning. That could cause, you know, a little bit of a confidence crisis, and I could see people, you know, fleeing from Ethereum temporarily into something else, perhaps Bitcoin or something else that's on Coinbase, because most people, you know, are using that. So I think there could be this, you know, this one thing where if 1559 does not go well, and you know, hash power ends up being directed to an inferior chain, and some exchanges end up on the wrong chain with double spend possible. That could just be bad for crypto in general, right? Like, people see this kind of thing and say, "Oh, it's all, you know, it's all a scam again," right? So, there is a little bit of risk I see on price tomorrow.
Well, let's go into that now then. Yeah, because on that subject, let's switch over to Ethereum. You know, what's going to happen about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning is when the chain 1559, then they kind of switch over. A lot of people are there's a lot of people speculating the price is going to skyrocket, but then there's a lot like you saying, who knows what's going to happen? You know, anything can happen. But I think
Yeah.
right now is a lot of excitement thinking, you know, people are jumping in. It's a 27.
Yeah, I think it's like a short-term, long-term discussion, Joe, right? I mean, Sean highlights a very near-term, potential event risk. And, markets don't like uncertainty. Investors don't like uncertainty. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense that money could sit on the sideline, but, you flip that story to, more of a long-term view, however you define that in the crypto space. And I think the Ethereum story is extremely bullish.
Yeah,
Sean, do you think
still
it's...
have a good,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, sorry.
They still have a good fundamental story to tell. No question about it. And just look at Binance, right? I mean, Binance got the fee right, and it's a multi-billion-dollar company. So, I don't think there's any real concern long term. But if there was a chain fork, I do see possibility for short to medium term. The next month or so, that could be just a flight from crypto. But yeah, I think it's. We're gonna find out tomorrow.
So Sean, no. Let's drill down on that. So let's worst case scenario that, and let's say there is some technical issue with the fork. Would you, as an investor and a miner, would you view that as a buying opportunity, a short-term glitch that the market will correct long-term, or would that kind of put you on the sideline and keep you on the sideline?
Well, I don't think it's going to put me on the sideline or any miners who understand the technical aspects of this thing. I'm more thinking about headline risks. So things like,
of course,
yeah, just they're going to say something stupid just for clickbait, and that's going to cause a flight. But yeah, if there was some headline risk and something did go wrong, yeah, I would definitely be interested. And frankly, there may be another opportunity to get Ethereum Classic 2.0 or whatever that is, right? If there is a fork and that fork survives and people do trade it, that could be an opportunity as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the added fear is Binance. Binance has already suspended trading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Coinbase does as well, because if they run the new software and they get forked off onto an inferior node, there's a possibility for double spend. So they would be prudent to do that.
So what's the two biggest scenarios right now? That everything runs smoothly, or that transaction fees go up, or the whole system slows down?
Won't really slow down. If there's a hard fork, then there will be two competing chains, and eventually they will not be able to reorganize anymore after, probably 10 to 14 blocks. So within a few minutes, one chain will sort of win out, and depending on how many people are mining that one and which chain the exchanges end up being on, that would kind of determine if there's a new coin or not. So,
yeah, I think it all depends, Joe. Yeah, on your position, right? Like, whatever happens, it could be a fantastic buying opportunity.
There's more of a buying opportunity than long term. It's not going anywhere. Ethereum's not going anywhere. It's just more of a long term. Yeah. All right, let's go into thinking of that and giving people fear in crypto. How about the Bitcoin 51% attack that has happened?
Talk about a headline, right?
Yeah.
Clickbait headline.
That just Bitcoin SV 51% attack.
Yeah. So Bitcoin SV is the Satoshi version, which they, I don't know, whatever. They adopted that name to pretend to be superior to Bitcoin Cash. So basically, there was Bitcoin. There was a big argument about how to increase the transaction speed because it's right now, 4 to 7 transactions per second. So a whole bunch of people wanted to change the block size. A bunch of people didn't, and that forked into Bitcoin Cash. And then about a year later, those people said, we want to not have any limit. There's, Bitcoin Cash people. There's a big argument with them. And so then Bitcoin Cash forked into Bitcoin SV. So now there's Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin SV. Cash and SV are not really heavily traded or used. Bitcoin SV, because it has no cap, is an interesting sort of dumping ground. People use it to store files, basically. So you can go there and extract all kinds of stuff. Yeah, they ended up with a 51% attack. It was a coordinated attack across multiple mining pools, and this did result in double spends. And the SV dev team has advised full node operators to invalidate the chains that had the double spends. This is all a very developing story, though, so very, very interesting.
Yeah, here you go. Their response. In response to the ongoing reorganization, they're asking node operators to suspend. Yeah. So, and maybe this is a good lesson in how the community does fix things like this, and a positive thing. No, that if they do go back and the node operators are able to fix the fraudulent chain. No, is that not?
It depends, right? Because people have like active probes watching the blockchain now, they were able to find this thing pretty quickly. And they were able to identify which was the quote unquote correct chain because there was a single bad operator. But if you think about, the Ethereum DAO attack, that was a whole different sort of attack, and they ended up having to fork and undo all the wrong transactions. And so that's where Ethereum Classic came from. When they said, no, the blockchain is, sacrosanct, you cannot change it, fraud or not, that's their problem. And that was not related to a 51% attack. That was an error in a smart contract. But still, this can be one solution if you catch it quick enough. Had those probes not been out there, they may never have known, and would not have been able to catch it in time. So
Coinbase
can be a solution.
Yeah, Coinbase has stopped trading on Bitcoin SV after the 5th attack. Do you think that's something that's temporary, or it's kind of a permanent thing after this point?
No, it may be permanent. I think they probably had enough with with them. And this is a problem with proof of work, which is why you should have a hybrid proof of work, proof of stake. It's much harder to attack hybrid systems.
It's like getting banned from Twitter.
Yeah.
You're out.
Yeah. All right. What do we have next? I'm kind of looking, making sure that we're connected because usually we have a lot more people on here.
Pun just joined the fray.
Did he? There he is. Pun. Hello, Pun.
He's asking for a recap on SV.
Yep. Just recapping SV.
Satoshi version. It's the second fork of Bitcoin, basically. So, yep. It's a fork of Bitcoin Cash.
So it's kind of what Ethereum's going through now to explain to people that they're forking right now. I'm trying to figure out ways to explain people that are learning.
Mm-hmm.
No. You're like, mm-hmm. Let's go to our buddy. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Don't encourage him.
I want to know where's Pun. I want to know. Pun, drop it in the comments. I'll play ball.
All right, Gary Gensler in the news. He had a little speech. He was at the other day, and he was talking crypto and called crypto the Wild West, which I think everybody kind of knows that right now. Believes that all ICOs are securities. Believes crypto will be mainstream once it's regulated. He thinks that the average person doesn't know enough about it and is too scared to invest in crypto until it's regulated. And open crypto ETFs as long as they apply with strict SEC rules, because lack of regulation leads to market manipulation. You want to jump in? I know you have a lot to say about this, Sean or Keith.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
All right, Sean, you can have the first at bat.
It's he's largely correct, right? Crypto is the Wild West. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's very complicated. A lot of people don't know. All ICOs are securities. That's probably true. You're raising capital for a project from a bunch of unsophisticated investors. Yeah. Crypto will go mainstream once regulated. That I'll completely disagree with. This is not this does not need regulation to the degree that we have in a lot of other financial markets. And then market manipulation. Yeah, lack of regulation leads to market manipulation. No, because we've seen so much market manipulation in the equity debt markets already. I think that's not really true. So yeah, it's he's kind of all over the map. Look, he's a regulator. He's going to say these kind of things. This is beyond regulation, though, right? There's all these peer-to-peer things that are untouchable by regulators, and they hate this. So yeah, they're gonna continue at this, but I don't think there's a lot that they can do.
Yeah, and isn't it always the way? Like, it's this same story, this same narrative. They want to keep the average Joe away, and then in doing so, even if well intended, all you're doing is you're keeping like the fat cats and the smart money guys, in there, and it's moated, and they're the ones who are going to make all the money. And then by the time you wall it up and moat it up and regulate the pants off of it, and then you let Auntie Jane or Joe Schmo in, a lot of the fast early money is made, and then people are jumping in late, and then you have the inevitable crash, and then guess who's left holding the bag? So it's really kind of an unfortunate story that we've seen repeat itself over and over and over again, in the investment world. So,
are you surprised?
Yeah, too.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
This.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Sean, and then I'll piggyback.
This is an enabling technology. Yeah.
Right, and two, I read some fascinating things on, the diversity of the invested community within cryptocurrency. Really kind of fascinating, the distribution by age, by gender, by racial demographic. Really kind of fascinating stuff. Almost stuff that the white collar stuffy ETF or stock and bond world would be jealous of the level of diversity you're seeing in crypto. So it's strange the stuff that they really want to put the boot on.
Mm-hmm.
How would early regulation actually damage the whole crypto universe, as you'd say? Because how much money does it take just to get registered and go through a lot of these loopholes just to be able to operate? That how much would it damage the whole space doing it this early?
It's millions of dollars to be registered as a money service business in the United States and all 50 states, and takes upwards of 18 months. So, not just anybody can do it. And that's largely because of this patchwork framework that we have of regulation. So, if they can't fix the regulation so that it's accessible to smaller people, then you're just going to have consolidation, and it's that same story again. So it's going to stifle innovation for sure.
Are you surprised, Gensler being a former professor at MIT on blockchain? I think a lot of people were excited to see him become the head of the SEC, thinking he'd be more crypto friendly. Or is he crypto friendly? It's just he's trying to protect it in his own mind, in his own way.
Everybody's got a boss, Joe. Everybody's got a boss.
Yeah, he's just making points with the hedge fund guys.
But you would think that since he taught blockchain and that was his background, he would maybe have a different point of view, or?
I think when you get put in that seat, you put in that seat, Joe, whether he does or doesn't, he does have a boss who's an elected official, and, to Sean's point, there's also a very powerful constituency that pays his bills, and he's going to be loath probably to antagonize that constituency.
Okay, the both of you guys have a question. You think you're both the head of the SEC, regulation. There's certain level of regulation that's going to be done or needs to be done. What would be the thing that needs to take place? Nothing right now, or anything?
I don't think. I don't think anybody would sit here and say no regulation at all is needed, right? I think the all or nothing scenario isn't necessarily healthy and good, but yeah, to put things in place to ensure transparency, right? To make sure
what would
that
that be? What would that be?
Yeah.
I think
question.
those could be, there are some things that have been done in like incubators where they try to do these fintech incubator things that have lower bars to entry, sometimes in a couple of $1 million or something like that. So maybe streamlining some of the regulation or some of the processes, creating sandboxes, these kinds of things, right? Government needs to be much more innovative about regulation and letting people try things in smaller environments. You can only raise so much money, only from so many people, whatever else, to get you a stepping stone into something, so that can foster some creativity. But yeah, this kind of just hammer ban kind of thing doesn't work.
But with a lot of a lot of these are startups though, and people aren't going to be able to spend $5,000, $10,000. They're spending their time. So what do they have to go overseas to do it?
But isn't that what you don't necessarily want to stifle with a lot of regulation, Joe? I mean, isn't that what, makes America great, or in this case, a nascent industry like crypto great, right? It's that animal spirits, it's that startup, and with great risk comes the potential for great reward. Unfortunately, regulation steps in and tries to kind of muddy that water a little bit. But, if you're an investor and you've done your homework and you understand the risks and the reward and you decide to make an investment, if it goes your way, fantastic, you've earned it. And if it goes against you, okay. I mean, that's the game we all play.
Yep, I totally agree.
Okay.
You play that game too, Joe. You play that game too.
Oh yeah.
Don't sit there and be in the middle.
No,
you're in the water too.
Yep. At least I feel like I'm a little bit more educated than the average person that's coming into this space. Really excited, the average Dogecoin person that knows more about Dogecoin than they've never heard of Ethereum.
Right.
Because of the hype.
Yeah, but again, but I think also almost there's a bit of morality there weighing in, right? Like to a certain extent, if Elon says buy the cute doggy coin and it's going up and up and up, I mean, don't I have a right to do that as an investor? Like, isn't that my right?
Yeah.
Who cares? Who cares if it's not cerebral? Who cares if I haven't done my homework? What is the difference necessarily of me going to the Pink Sheets or me going to, Las Vegas? If I would like to take investment risk in any shape or form, I don't think it should be metered or measured by the amount of homework or diligence I've done. I'm an adult. I can make those decisions without the government weighing in and telling me I haven't done enough homework to make a particular investment.
Yeah.
All right.
You bring up an interesting point with going to Vegas too, right? I mean, they're going to regulate the hell out of crypto, but isn't illegal. So how is this not legal, but Vegas is, right? If people are saying, oh, it's gambling, right. It's all about the money. So yeah.
Right. Even if it is, there is a place in society for that. Yep. I would argue, there's investment and spec risk in some of the video games my kids play.
Sure.
So, I think we should all back off a little bit on this and, just I don't say let it ride, but I like letting it go. I love that whole organic growth, and the market takes it. What does it say? The market is the best deployer or allocator of capital. This isn't a command economy. So,
yep.
Let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
Don't tread on me, Joe. Don't tread on me.
I just think stock exchanges are getting scared when they see 1.6 trillion in crypto, and it should be going to them in their head. And they just see it's just a start.
Yeah.
It's so true.
All right, next up, which shows and gives even more worry to a lot of people in that space, is Google allows crypto ads, but they have rules. So officially, they're starting to allow crypto ads, I think, starting on the 6th. But the exchanges and wallets have rules. They must be registered with FinCEN, must be registered with the federal, state, and chartered bank entities. So basically, they have to be registered like a bank.
Yep.
To run ads. So what? There's going to be 2 or 3 of them running ads. That's it. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, like who is going to be incremental with this kind of rule? It's basically it's going to be Chase and Bank of America and all the other ones who are doing it anyway. So yeah, I don't know. I guess they're worried about, well, a platform provider, has to maintain its brand, and they're worried about scams, rightfully so, right? There's lots and lots of scams out there. So I think, this is just brand protection more than anything else. I don't think you're not going to be flooded with a boatload of Google ads for crypto anytime soon, I don't think.
But I think it's going to kind of give a head start to some of the mainstream or bigger ones.
There you go.
Start,
Yep.
growing their product. Isn't crypto.com, kind of owned by Visa or something like that?
Yeah. So that's a fair point, right? There's going to be consolidation. The household names are going to become more household names, and the rest of us are going to get. That's Yep. You're right.
It's interesting to see some of these, like Google and Facebook and them who try to be outside of mainstream, and now they've just become part of the mainstream, pushing the same narrative that they were trying to get away from for so many years in Silicon Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, Sean is the biggest advocate of decentralization, and when you talk about it, right? What is Google? It isn't decentralized. Facebook, Bank of America, Chase, all of them. So you can see this whole, not to say crony capitalism, that might be a bit overstepping, but you can see these very large established entities with a similar vested interest sort of aligning, because quite honestly, I think the Google position is garbage. I'm sympathetic to what Sean said, completely get it. However, I just sort of feel that it has the complete opposite, intended effect than what's intended. So it's only going to make those guys stronger, and the new innovative companies, are going to get walled out or left behind, as you say, Joe. So I think it's unfortunate. I would have hoped there was a more nuanced approach that could have been taken.
I think too, there will be at some point some kind of peer-to-peer advertising search, marketplace, if you will, where I can make $15 or $20 a day selling ads on, on my own content somehow, like just lots and lots of people operating peer-to-peer in microtransactions. I think that is definitely coming. And so people need to think about what kind of regulation there should be on those things, right? Like advertiser, I don't want my ads appearing next to content that's contrary to what I'm trying to sell. And as a publisher, I won't want ads coming onto my site that, are for illegal things or whatever else. So there has to be some kind of, community governance for peer-to-peer advertising. But I do think that Google will see some disintermediation at some point with peer-to-peer advertising, particularly related to blockchain and programmable money. I think that's definitely possible.
You think so? Because I feel like, people just go on social media websites to get their news, which is not decentralized. And the only way to get them away from that is to, I don't see how you get people away from social media or get them into the next one that's decentralized.
Well, first you have to build it, right? You have to build it. Decentralized Facebook, Twitter, Google, whatever these are. So you need some enabling technology, which that's part of the decentralized web that we're working on here. So yeah, I think it's possible.
All right, we kind of hit up on the 30-minute mark. Sounds like it's a little quiet out there today. There must be something else cooler going on than us.
Yeah, and so Joe,
Yeah.
No, Joe, just one thing. I don't know if we skipped it or we kind of like touched on it quickly, but that SEC regulation, I wanted to come back to that a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it is kind of fascinating to me. Like you do see, and everybody knew this was coming, right? You know, this pendulum swinging, and we knew there would be this increase in regulation. But it is fascinating, you know, to see obviously China's very strong stance on crypto. We were discussing, the three of us, earlier today, the South Korean announcement, their position on crypto, the US. I'd be very, very curious to know, and I don't sit in on these meetings, but it'd be fascinating to know if there's high level discussions and any kind of attempt to have coordinated, you know, global governmental coordinated approach to managing crypto, or if it's just all independent country by country, because it really is fascinating. I mean, these are the hugest, you know, economies on the planet coming out very, very strongly. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you're seeing some more of the smaller economies coming out very supportive and bullish on cryptocurrency. So very early stages of this story, but to see maybe a hint of divergence between, you know, the size of the economy and their stance on cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
What do you think, Joe?
El Salvador, and Bank of America does the 180 on El Salvador, saying how it's going to benefit El Salvador, but you don't see anyone here in the United States saying how it's going to, you know, benefit the U.S. It's almost like they're trying to test it out in these smaller countries.
Yeah,
and I think it's interesting how China is already in China and South Korea. They're already trying to regulate it heavy.
Then I expect that out of China. You know, the South Korean statement I thought was pretty bold, and that will be a fascinating story to watch as that unfolds, and how they approach it, because they have obviously a very big, you know, cryptocurrency base there, obviously very tech savvy. So that'll be really, really interesting to see. And Joe, you and I know firsthand, you know, the whole challenges with moving money in and out of Korea, right? Very controlled. I'm sure the government wants to keep that control. Perhaps that's part of the puzzle there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have a question from Dalis. Updates on Web Wallet and the NFT node. Take the floor, Sean.
Web Wallet. I'm going to be publishing a proof of concept tonight. The Ubuntu NFT node, I had a little bit of technical issue with. I've just been really super focused on the Web Wallet. I may pass that off to one of the other developers. I got to figure out if either one of them knows enough about Ubuntu to sort it out. But it's a very minor bug. I've been really super focused on the Web Wallet. So yes, proof of concept will be going out tonight. It'll be hosted on an NFT enabled node that the foundation will support, and it'll probably be like nft.dynamocoin.org. And then we'll ask for community help to test it out. We need everybody on their various devices to try it out, different operating systems. We need like a Safari on a Mac, Chrome on a Mac. I don't have any Macs available for use right now. So, anything on Mac would be great. But and then anything on Android and all the other kinds of devices, we want to see that it looks and functions okay. So, yep, very, very shortly coming.
I got a few Macs. I can jump in and do that.
Yeah. I mean, Sean, I was just gonna say, if you wanted my help, just come out and ask. I mean, I could take it from you.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at? What do you want?
All right, let's go back to let's see what's going on. Nothing much has happened. We're still around 39.27. Let's see. I always think of Ethereum. What do you think if Ethereum drops, guys? And what happens to Ethereum Classic or Aave, which I love Aave.
Bye.
Yeah. Some of those lower ones.
That was not investment advice for the diners community, by the way. Disclaimer.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely going long.
Okay. This is a quiet night. Nobody's out. Nobody's chatting.
It is. Well, they're all waiting for Friday. Joe.
Nah.
We'll have a lot of updates for the community on Friday. It'll be a lot of good. We'll have a guest co-host in my absence Friday. So it's going to be a great show.
Yep.
No, Dalis, not financial advice. Don't you get me in trouble.
All right, I guess we should shut this thing down if nobody else is asking questions. Unless you guys want to chat some more, I can pull up random things on the screen.
No, I think this is good, right? We're about 30, 35 minutes. It's about.
Yeah.
I think part of it is to to keep it consistent too. That all the videos should be about the same length at the same time. So yeah. Cool.
All right, guys.
Move that along.
Back up.
All right.
Yes, we will see you guys on Friday, 8 o'clock.
Yep.
Your market will either be up or it'll be down. That's it. Great advice.
Go green.
Or it's going to be down.
All right. Good night, diners.